Now that we've lived here for 3 seasons, I'm starting to have a much clearer vision of what I want to do with our beautiful 5-acre property here. The landscaping around the house is quite nice. There's a lot of well-established big perennial flowers. We like the boulder work. We have to remove a lot of trees. We have these broken trees. A lot of the tops are broken. We have a lot of dead elm trees and a lot of the ash trees, which are now susceptible to the boring beetle that kills them. So we have a lot of these little skinny 2 to 4 inch ash trees that have moved in that we need to clear, and a lot of buckthorn and grape and other invasives, poison ivy. So we basically have about 2 acres out of the 5 to clear here, and I want to cut out a big rectangle out of the main central part here that we can plant and have greenhouses. And it's going to require all that tree removal and stump digging, and then replanting. We'll mulch all the trees and bring in more soil and replant everything. We want to put in more maple trees and apple trees. Around the perimeter of the property, there's more mature trees. There's a lot of maple, birch, cottonwood, and we'll leave those. But this middle part with all these little ash trees and dead elm trees has to go. Looking at the property, there's a high point over here and a high point over here where I would like to, with the help of a landscape engineer, put in some ponds. There's a big drainage that's almost a perennial stream going down the one side of the property that I'm thinking to capture that water into another pond at the bottom where it starts to get more marshy, and see if we can get that area a little bit more under control. It's a lot of land that we can plant. There's a vegetable garden right here, which I'd like to just replace. We have a couple of apple trees over there, and I'd like to have apple trees on the whole side here. There are raspberry vines here in a big patch and another big patch on the side of the property, and I'd like to extend that. There's a lot of wild raspberry and thimbleberries all through the back here, and so we could plant a lot more berries and also plant a lot of grapes. Grapes do real well here. There are vineyards down the road, and we have a lot of wild grape on our property, so we know grapes will do fine here. And right here where I'm walking, I want to put in the geothermal greenhouse. And that would be a 96-foot geothermal greenhouse that we could keep going all year round, and then have fruits and vegetables growing all year round, and then have seasonal not geothermal greenhouses to do a bigger crop of tomatoes and peppers in the summer. And then we still have plenty of room for beds and fruit trees and berries and grapevines, herbs and medicinals for ourselves, for our neighbors and community. This is 5 acres. We have basically 1 acre on the front of the property with the house and the lawns and the gardens up there, the chicken coop and so on. We could easily do 2 or 3 cultivated acres back here. I would need some workers to help if it got to that scale. It'd be more than I would want to manage on my own with my other work, but I'd love to do it part-time. It's just going to be an awful lot of money to get it into shape, because the tree removal, pond digging, then all of the replanting, just the plants themselves. If we put in even just 20 apple trees is $1,000. By the time we're done, it's going to be upwards to $100,000, including the greenhouses. So it's a big project. Not sure how long it's going to take us or when we could even get started, because I don't want to remove the trees until we're ready to replant, because if we do that, a lot of invasives and undesirable things would happen in the interim time. We'd have a lot of mud probably, nowhere for the birds to go. So we want to be ready to plant new trees and do our garden plantings as soon as we remove the trees. So might not happen this year, hopefully next.